Well, hello. This is Carmen Kelly here, and I am going to give you a little tutorial or share a little bit of how I can quickly create book covers with Canva. So, if you have not heard of Canva, that is canva.com. It is an app. I highly recommend it. That if you and you're an author, and whether or not you are looking to be independently published, or self-published, or traditionally published, or a mixture of both, it is a great app to know and to use for all of your graphics and your marketing tools and even book covers. And the beauty of Canva is you don't have to be a well-versed graphic designer in order to create something in Canva. The goal and purpose of the app and the company who created it was to make design easier for common folk like you and me. So for me, I'm looking through a lens of convenience. I actually do have a graphic design background and have been using Canva still for the past 5 years, just because it is so easy to use and very convenient. You can turn out something really nice looking and appealing once you get used to it in a matter of a couple of minutes, versus the time that I take to build something in Photoshop and doing different layers. And you also can run the risk of overproducing something in Photoshop too if you're not careful. And then for those of us who are not well versed in Photoshop, it can be a very daunting task. So I wanted to show you my example. So let's say you're just wanting to create a book cover for an ebook, and it would just be one page. The beauty of the ebook is that they only need the front cover for you to create. And book covers are super important, whether you are, especially for if you're a self-published author and you want to create your own book cover. You usually have a couple of choices, really kind of two choices, but one, if you're a self-published author and you're getting a book cover, you can one, create it yourself, or two, hire an expert who can do it for you. I have I don't have an opinion. I would say that it really just depends on the budget that you have, the time you have, the expertise you have, on which of these options are for you. But I would say, for example, if you are an individual who wants to be a self-published author, don't have a whole lot of budget to spend in order to create a nice looking book cover, this could be a viable option for you. And so I'm using this tutorial through that particular lens of, if you've made a decision that you would like to create your own book cover, you may not have the funds or the means to acquire the help of a graphic designer to create one for you, and you can do it here. Also, too, if you even are, if you are, sorry, if you're a traditional published author, and then there's some titles that you want to do independently, or you just want to create some sweet freebies for your fan base and your readership, you can easily create a ebook cover for your short story if you so choose using this app. Okay. All right. So let's get started. So here's some examples that I had created, just to kind of give you a feel that all of these were created through Canva. I didn't do anything special. I didn't do any kind of Photoshop or multiple layers. Canva does not do that. The interface is very simple. You'll see here over here to your left, all of this is pretty much the same. You're going to have list of templates. So whatever you want to look to design, you can type in for certain templates and have it look up for you. And you can just build something right off of that if you like the design of it so much. But all of it is completely configurable. If there is content that you need to use, that is outside of Canva, you can upload it, and it keeps all of your images here. You can see I do a lot of different stuff between my projects and the Inclusive Romance project, which I also use my Canva for. But yeah, if you're pulling in headshots that you're trying to create something, or particular images, you can do that here. Like I use this image of this character here for, where is he? Yeah, there's that handsome fellow. So yeah, so you can upload pictures and you can bring those in. So that's what you can do for your uploads. They also have quite a big photo catalog that, if you're using Canva Pro, which I am subscribed to, it gives you a lot of those features. You have a lot of images that are covered by Pro, give you a bigger catalog that you can use. And all of this is royalty free for you to be able to use. Then you have different elements have stickers and shapes, lines. You can type in to see different grids, any kind of illustration. If you are wanting to create a book cover that has illustrations, they also have those all in here. Different types of texts and types of fonts and styles, all that great stuff. Different color schemes, audio. This is actually pretty new. When I started Canva, they did not have like half of this stuff available about 5 years ago. So now they're starting to do videos, and you can do TikTok videos with using Canva. You can do all kinds of stuff now. It's a whole brand new world. But yeah, you can put in videos, backgrounds, you name it. So all of this here is at your disposal. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the concept of the book cover for those who are new, and then we'll dive into like the different elements. I'll just create one up front so you can see. But the element of the book cover is to give the reader information, and this information, we'll talk about the obvious thing is, what is the title of the book, the name of the book, and who is the author, who wrote it, and then something aesthetic on the cover that gives the reader, the consumer, some inkling of what type of book that this cover belongs to, like what type of book this is. There's I haven't been able to pull it all up, but there's certain color schemes too, if you'll start learning and looking of the different styles of book covers, that kind of gives the readers an idea of what kind of book it is. For example, for the longest time, when you're doing something steamy or erotic, a lot of the color scheme is monochrome, black and white, and maybe some bright script color, some bright scripting in bright colors on as the title or on the cover, to let you know that this is something very dark and steamy. So yeah, that was my sultry voice. So that is, I think that's still pretty much the trend. Just know that trends come and go and they change. But yeah, like doing your research is the first foremost thing. But what you want to do with the element of the book cover is, at a glance, it should be eye-catching. It should be something that gives them the information, gives right up front of what the book title is, who wrote it, and then give a semblance of what type of book that it would be. And the whole purpose of that is to spark interest, that they can be scrolling through all these different thumbnail images of book covers online, and we're looking through our phones, looking through our mobile devices and computer and desktop, and you want something that is going to stop, and they'll look and they're like, oh, what is that about? And it turns interest to where they want to learn more, hopefully maybe look at your blurb, and if your blurb is on point, continue to get them even more curious about the book, to where they want to look at the sample that you have on your Amazon page if you're doing Amazon, and then finally, get to a point where you've sold them and they want to buy your book. Okay. So, this is what I would say is do take a look at your research and see what kind of books are out there that are similar to yours, so you can get a research, like an idea of the trends. So for Amazon, I just went ahead and typed up, contemporary romance books. And that is for me to kind of get a look at, what kind of book covers are listed under this. And you can see here, there's black and white with the script. I did not, anticipate this, but yeah, this is a good example. So this is a romance, just like the cover that I did. You can definitely tell that it's going to be a romance, and this is most likely probably a high steam or very high steam or steamy contemporary story, just by looking at that. And then you'll see that the series, like the same author, has the same kind of branding and style. And so just kind of search around. You'll also see now that the trend for a number of contemporary romance is illustrations. A very kind of soft, light illustration on the cover with very whimsical fonts to be that trend. And then you also see some mixes here that are some still are illustrations. You still have some that have the really buff guy with the scripty font on the cover, and different styles. So I would say do your research, find out, try to look up and find books and romance books that are close to your style, and then see what kind of route that you want to take. So that will hopefully help you figure out what style that you want to use. All right. So like I said, you're probably looking here and like, how did you create these covers? And, I'm not going to beat myself up. These aren't my best, but they're okay for the sake of this tutorial. But I will show you that you can make a pretty decent cover just with this information, like the information at your fingertips and using Canva. So I will tell you here. Let's do a new one. So I'm going to duplicate this one, and I'm going to just nuke all of this. We got a blank page. Okay, so let's say we want to do, I'm going to challenge myself here because I did not double check to see if any of this information was available. So I will either succeed and be glorious or crash and burn. But we're all in this together, right? So let's say we want to do like we saw here, because we already have an example of a steamy one. Let's go with the illustrated cover that has the more like trend for the modern contemporary romance novels that we see now. So we see like we have some illustrated of the two characters, and then we have like the title of the book, and we have the name of the author. And so let's just kind of start with that and see what we can get. Okay. Now I will forewarn, when you're doing illustrated book covers, you're probably going to want something a lot more customizable because, with illustration, you can do that. You want the characters to look a certain way or, face a certain way, different poses. You have a lot of that flexibility when you are paying a graphic designer to illustrate that for you the way you want it. But if you are not married to that or don't have the means to do that, you can try to do that here. We do have illustrations. So let's go into Elements and type in, let's see what we got here for Black Love. So let's do let's just start easy. Let's just look up the guys. Okay. So let's see if we can find the right one. This one looks pretty suave. So yeah, you can just, if you find one of them that you like, you can just click on it and it will spit it up on there, and you can position it however you want. And notice these boundaries that kind of light up. They're just to kind of let you know that this is ideally where you would want your majority of content. Oh, didn't delete that. Okay, majority of content to. Sorry, I forgot to remove the text. They blended in with the white background. That you don't want it to go too far because it might be cut off. But because this is an ebook, you don't necessarily have to worry about that. That's usually morely for the boundary of if you're getting something printed, you don't want it to go past into the bleed. So you can ignore that. So we can set him right here. All right, and let's see if we can find heterosexual romance. So, like that. Okay, so we have this gorgeous woman. And let's move her, excuse me, up here, because he's kind of like looking up at her. See if we can kind of get it around the same scale. That's some of the things just to think about. You can look up some YouTube channels that can kind of help you with that, but just, some of the basic elements of when you do something big, that's putting them in the forefront. When you're doing something super small, it could be seen that they're in the background. But if you want them kind of around the same, you try to have the scale roughly about the same size, and put them up here. And actually, let's just let her cut off a little bit to the side. Okay, so now it looks like we have one of our main characters here, looking suave and looking up at actually nothingness, but the illusion is that he's looking up at her. Okay, so we've fortunately found some items here. So let's think about what we want to put for the title. So if you click on text, there's all these different pre-loaded, heavily stylized fonts that you can use. You can use those and you can change them up like however you want. If you find something that kind of works for you, you can do that. I'm going to go off the beaten path a little bit, and let's say you just want to shop around and kind of figure out a font that works for you. So you click on add a heading, it'll pop up a little prompt for you. And we can just change the title to what should we call this? Oh, come on, guys. You're not even helping me out here. I'm trying to help you out. Oh, wait a minute. I'm channeling some Marvin Gaye here. Man, okay. So you have the title. What I do is, because until you figure out how exactly you want your titles to go, I separate some of the words. That way I can kind of position them the way I want. Okay. And so we have Sit Lover. You have your font sizes up here, your different fonts all here in this drop down. You can actually upload fonts if you have the permission to. So just be careful, make sure that it's a font that you have the rights to and you've been able to purchase. But you can import them if you have Canva Pro into here so you can use it, especially if you have a certain font that you want to use for your branding. you can import it here if Canva does not have it. So yeah, so we have our title here. We can change it up here. You can change it all to all caps instead of having to go back and do that. That's not the same size. You can change it so they're the same. And then you get to have like all the fun of what kind of font you want to use. I am a sucker for this one. But maybe we want to do something. So let's go back and see what we got here. So we do have some of this whimsical script, some of them using scripts, some of them using some sans serif type, handwriting style. So let's see if we can find something like that. And here you can try to type that as well. Like they have the different styles like handwriting, corporate style, headings, sans serif, all those type of things here. So let's look at handwriting because that's really funky and fun. And I'll load these out and you can just kind of play around with it a bit. Nope. Ooh, okay. That might work. Let's see. Okay. I know some of you might be like, no, but like we're going with this, okay? We're doing this. It's just an example. Okay, so what was that? Here we go. And just bring you up so you can just stretch it out. Wait a minute. 130. Okay. So we can do the same here. Distant lover. Okay. Have that out here. And let's do is subheading. Sweet rom-com. However you want to do it. And then just being mindful of, so I have a 2-font rule. Typically for most design, there's kind of like a rule of thumb of 2 fonts. You want to kind of limit it to that. Anytime you introduce a number of different styles of font on like one piece of work, it can get really busy and it can get really confusing, and it kind of ruins the aesthetics a little bit. So just kind of remember in terms of book covers that less is more. And then you can just, play around with the different fonts, and they should be able to complement each other. So if you have something that's kind of, scripty, then you're going to want something else that's probably a little more corporate, so to speak, or like very easy to read. So something like this font is actually not bad. I think I'm probably going to want it to make it a little bit smaller because it seems to be a little too big for my taste because it's just a subtitle. But yeah, so you can put that there. And let's think about background. So you're going to want your cover to kind of pop, so you could just play around with different stuff, see what kind of works. Different solid colors, that might be too much. But yeah, you can play with all these different colors and see what works for you. That actually might work a little bit. See complementary color with that. So yeah, so we have that. You need to put your next thing is find out where to put your name, right? All right. My name is all one thing, so I'm just a one word like that. So I'm just going to keep it on the same text box. Let's see, and this is, and then. So I try to keep that simple. Just make it all caps. Like I said, try to keep your book covers, your fonts, kind of minimal. You can just like this. You can use some of these things as a guide. Just notice that all of the font is the same. They just differentiated by the author having a different color uh, of her name, but all of it is just kind of like the same here, and you can kind of mix it up. Like here's two different fonts, but they kept it pretty much basic. So yeah, so just use some of that kind of like a guide. Um, and whether or not you want to put it at the top, if you want to have it at the bottom, it kind of just depends. It depends on the cover art, honestly. So for me, I kind of like when they kind of run into each other a little bit, but because they're kind of like, I'm just gonna put just a little bit. There we go. Distant Lover, sweet rom-com novel. And I'll leave it at that. So yeah, so if you wanted to leave it at this, that's fine. I wanted to show you a couple of other elements that you can do. So let's see, we can have some hearts somewhere. What kind of cutesy hearts they got? Yeah, I know it might be a little cheesy, but just bear with me. Some of it might be doable. Um, so yeah, like a little bit. Hearts. And you can copy and paste as much as you want, and you can shrink it. You can move it or swip it around, smack it, flip it, whatever. Okay, and just have fun with it. You're supposed to have fun with it at least. And like I'm just showing you, like none of this I have illustrated myself. I didn't create any of these fonts. I didn't create any of these illustrations. I didn't do any of this stuff. All I did was just kind of try to put an image together with the tools that are all in this app, And so that's what you can do with it. Let's see, a little bitty heart, and then like move it back that way, or something like that. Um, and just have fun. Like sometimes I feel confident of something, and then I'm like, maybe I want to do that, but I'm like, yeah. If I do that, that's really hard to read against that yellow. So if I'm really married to the font being white, then I'm going to need to change the background and like tone it down. So we play around with that and see what kind of happens. Do we want to change it and do white instead? I don't know. I actually was kind of feeling the yellow. And if you don't remember what you change, there's a undo button here. Just keep hitting undo until it gets back to what you've done. And yeah. And so that is just a very quick rundown of how you can create a book cover in Canva. So the Canva is free. They have a free option. And they also have a professional option. So they have a paid one that's about $12 a month. And it gives you a little bit more of everything. So more different elements that you can play with, more stock photos, more patterns and things that you can use. But there's been some people I was using free for about a year until I realized that I wanted to do more with it, and I decided to buy the pro version. But yeah, you can totally create a book cover like this for if you were paying it for Canva Pro for about $13 a month, if that's what you wanted to do, or you can get somebody to do it for you. All right, so we are down to the final stages. So we've created our book cover. Yeah, so I did a kind of an A/B test because I can't decide between the two. Like I said, it's hilarious. I don't, this is not my genre, but I can totally feel it. I can totally feel these covers. But yeah, so when you have decided or you want to download them, you can do that here. And so, big download button, and it will give you a number of options, JPEG, PDF, all that. For your ebook, I highly agree with their suggested of doing a PNG. It's going to be a very high quality image. PNGs are accepted for upload for Amazon, for Kobo, like all of the ebook distributors. So widely accepted, and it's not going to degrade your quality. So select that. And then if you want the size a little bit bigger, just to kind of make sure you're not running into any issues with compliance for some of the ebook distributors, I normally make it just a little bit bigger, just in case we need to. And let's say, like, I have all of these. You may be making them in one big document, and that's fine. Sometimes you're going to do that. But if there's only one of these or two of these that you want to download, you don't want to download the entire thing, then you actually have the option to select the pages. Like, all of these books are multiple pages in one file. So I would just select page 1 and 2 and hit done, and verify that it's saying only pages 1 and 2 you're asking to download as a PNG, and then hit download. And it'll work its magic down there, and let you know that it's downloaded, and it'll be down here in a little zip file. Let me find it for you. The problem is I didn't title it right, so it just says Velvet. It's not ideal. So remember to try to name your file something that makes sense before you download. That was a mistake on my part. But so where is it? So yeah, so you will have that downloaded. Let's see if I can bring this over. All right, and move you over. So yeah, so that's one file, and where's the other one? And 2 files. So there. You have your ebook cover, and you can upload it to any of the distributors that you are working with or you're publishing, or if you're not working distributor at all and this is just a short story that you want to gift to your readership or have as a gift or whatever you want to do, you can set it up with that you have your cover for you to work with. Okay, so this is awesome. It's been a lot of fun. If you have any questions, let me know, reach out. If this tutorial was helpful to you, if you are a new self-published author or an author who is interested in self-publishing, or maybe you're just an author that wants to do free awesomeness for some of your readers to get them enticed with a short story or some kind of lead magnet. If this is helpful to you, please like our post, and so we can share it with other people, and subscribe. We may be doing more different tutorials based on this. Okay? All right. Everyone be safe. Take care. Stay inclusive, and happy ever afters are for everyone. All right. Thanks for watching.